Strong open, boys. Here we are back again. Embrace Debate episode, I believe, 8. We are going to talk a little NBA today. The return, along with some position rankings and some awards. I'm not going to run the point, but that was really fucking awkward. So, Jimmy, take it away.
All right. So, first off, I think the best way to kind of get into this call here would be to kind of talk about the NBA coming back and the location. So I'll start off with Mr. Frobert Bryant down there in the bottom. How do you feel about the NBA's location and the start of the season coming back? I believe the end of July is what they're looking forward to starting.
Well, I think America needs competitive sports, like something fast-paced. Location-wise, it's pretty – I don't really know much about the location. I know in Florida, Disneyland, whatever, wherever you're going to play, you're going to play. For the teams that didn't get the invite, I understand why. They were pretty shitty all year.
Including the team across your chest?
Yeah, including the team across the chest, but, it's Vince Carter's last year, and you got to salute to him. What else? I'm ready to bet. I'm ready to make some money. I'm ready to see if it's going to be LeBron James' year to win the finals, but I honestly don't see it happening. Cold take coming soon.
All right, Niffy, how you feeling about the NBA startup process?
As someone who's a big playoffs fan, as I don't really watch the regular season. Given that I'm a Blazers fan and I'm not staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch a game, for playoffs and then for it to be on the East Coast, it just makes it more entertaining for a lot of people, especially since we'll be able to watch games at 7 o'clock because they won't go any later than 7. And the people out west, get games at 4. It's normal for them, but I like it. I like the idea. It's going to be entertaining having all the teams there, having the guys being able to all be in one spot and actually being able to get sports back. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's actually a very valid point. I didn't really think about the West Coast teams coming to the East and the TV and stuff that goes along with that. So, Harry, what do you got to say on this whole aspect of the NBA finally announcing it will return?
Thank God. It was the first instinct when I heard it was back. You kind of feeling the last 2-3 weeks more just figure out the logistics, how many teams, where they're going to play, when it's going to start. But everything you were hearing, they were going to restart. So when I did hear that they were going to Orlando, going to Orlando, it's kind of like March Madness. So you just play at a central location, no fans. It'll be weird, but life isn't normal right now, so I'll take what I can get. But in terms of the format, so having the 22 teams, it seemed pretty easily to me that they did it just to try to get Zion into the playoffs and TV ratings, especially with the provision. So we're going to get into this, but I'll just get a little rough background. So with the play-in tournament that they may or may not have. So what it is that if a team is within, I think, 4 games after the 6-game regular season games they're going to play, if they're in between 4 games, they're going to play a play-in tournament with those teams. So I think at this moment in time, they are currently 4.5 games back of Matt. So this just seemed like an opportunity to get Zion, who is the next big star, in there. Do I think they'll get there? Probably not, because they're going to be playing because they're only going to be playing teams that are better than them, obviously, because that's the only other teams that are there. So I think that it'll be fine. I know we get rid of all the bad teams. Every team's going to be playing like it's March Madness, like winner go home, and it'll be great.
Yeah, those are some very valid points to go along with that. Tony, anything to add?
Yeah, no, I just think it'll be refreshing just seeing kind of a different format for the whole playoff thing. You saw the new format for the All-Star game and the fans loved it. So, testing new things, it seems to, turn out pretty well for the NBA. And, yeah, I think you'll get a lot of vibes, just back-to-back games all in one location. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. I wonder how some of these NBA players who, Kawhi Leonard's of the world, will react to having to play back-to-back play more often a week. Knack, anything?
I just think it'll be kind of interesting for me, at least, how like the living situation is going to go. I mean, you're bringing in 22 teams all into one city. I just think it'll be like maybe it'll be like a Olympic athletic village kind of thing, which would be pretty dope. Maybe they fill up some of the Disney hotels, which would be pretty sick. But I just think it's a cool concept. Bring them all in one location. Obviously, it's because only one or two states are really open right now. But no, I like the concept. I mean, it's bringing sports back, which everybody loves, and that's what we need.
For
It's
sure,
like,
for sure. Go ahead, Robert.
League World Series in NBA terms.
Billy, any last notes to add here?
I don't think it's really anything I have to add about the format. But I think just them coming back at this time might just position them to be in a place as a league that they there's like a growing suspicion they kind of just want to start the season on Christmas nowadays anyway, because the NFL kind of controls all of the fall.
Yeah.
So I think it might put them in a position where they do want to just take over the whole summer with the playoffs. And it could be like a just complete shift to the league in general, which would be pretty interesting.
I agree with
remember.
that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. Well, I was gonna say I agree with that take. It seems as that the NBA does want to start Christmas, try to control the summer. But the one thing, an unintended consequence of that is that, I mean, I think speaking for myself personally, July 1st, or I guess last year, June 30th, when free agency starts, I mean, that time is hectic. It's controlled only by basketball, and like all eyes are on it. If they move back to let's say they at the end of the regular season, like let's say it's 21st, just throw out a random day. I would assume free agency would start about 2 weeks after, like it does now. But then you're going to the football season, you're going to lose all the traction from that, and you're going to starting at Christmas time, you will get Christmas Day itself, but you're not even going to get any preseason coverage, no hype, no nothing, because you're going to the playoff push for the NFL. So that does seem to be their plan. Right now, they said it's December 1st, but they said it's tentative. I don't think they're going to be December 1st. But they starting on Christmas, there's going to be absolutely no coverage until at least February again. But this time around, you're not
The
going to get at
only
least
thing,
the
I've seen to counteract it, Blake Griffin was on Part of My Take yesterday, and he was talking about how they could try to like condense the schedule a little bit, just so there's less games, so they don't run into the position where they are running into football's training camp, which could be another option that they're kind of floating out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if it goes into like the summer, that's obviously when baseball is too. Something that you guys might not think of is like logistics of like actually like playing games, like as the baseball stadium having a game the same day as a basketball stadium. They're like pretty close to each other in vicinity mostly. That's a lot of traffic, and that's
usually they have baseball stadiums outside the cities because of, so there's so many more people. I mean, you could get a baseball stadium fits around 35, 45, 50,000 people versus an NBA arena. I think.
Well, he's just talking about the
like-
simulation of the events in a
Right.
town. So say if
Oh,
like
I
the
get-
Yankees were playing at 7:10 and the New York Knicks were tipping at 7:30 or 8 o'clock for ESPN, it would cause havoc across the city traffic-wise and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I mean, those are two different boroughs. They really wouldn't.
Well,
because
I mean,
noticed
that's
for
like
most-
New York City.
Well,
So-
that's just New York City. I mean,
If
the
you're gonna talk
Phillies
about
and
Philadelphia-
the 76ers share
Yeah.
a facility, like essentially a
All
parking lot.
cities right there, yeah.
I mean, we still deal with that kind of stuff with baseball and football. And I mean, those are usually the two
But
sports.
football's one day a week.
True.
Yeah, but still, you still deal with the unintended consequences. But it's usually, you got to rare.
NBA
You're
is
right.
only like it's pretty rare you see NBA teams playing 3 or 4 games a week anyway. So it's really not that big of a jump in certain stances. I think they'd be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure they would, but it would just be a little bit more difficult.
I also kind of
We've seen MLB owners are impossible to work with, so it could be hard.
I kind of want to go on Billy's point a little bit earlier. Me and Jim were talking about like plans for next season. If you look at that tentative schedule for the NBA playoffs, they have finals game 1 being September 30th. So you can most likely see that until probably the second week of October. I mean, if it plays out the full series. And I'm curious what they're going to do about that next season. I think if they don't want to do that mid-December move, they might have to do like a soccer type thing where they do like 2-3 month window of just like straight break and then get straight back into the season, maybe shorten the season so they can go from December to the usual like June, July, and then kick it off back to normal again.
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole COVID pandemic and stuff has kind of just thrown out a bunch of stimulations for all kind of sports leagues and outside of the NFL. I mean, the MLB is talking about making different decisions as just an example, like with the universal DH and stuff like that, and expanding MLB like game day rosters and stuff like that for the short term, just to have a season this year that could relatively kind of expand into being a part of like the normality going forward. So I think this whole pandemic has kind of created stipulations across not just the NBA, the MLB, but sports in general.
I'll just say this when it comes to NAC threw out the idea of possibly having a shorter schedule for just next season alone so they get back to normal. I don't see that happening for a couple of reasons, but probably most importantly, the just money. Because going back to this, they had 2 incidents that cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. One being Daryl Morey's Hong Kong support tweet. I think I lost the NBA's $500 million. And then of course there's Corona. And then that they lost TV revenues and stadium money. And the first time I think ever, the NBA salary cap is going to go down next season. So
Yeah.
I try to do whatever they can to make their money back. And if they throw out the idea of a shorter season, I don't think any of the owners are going to agree with that.
Okay.
The other thing-
Also,
Talking about it too, how I think it's either in their CBA or something, which it goes along with this playoff format of them bringing it back a couple games. I think they need to fulfill a certain amount of games to fulfill their TV contract as well.
70.
Yeah.
Harry, you also have to think about the Players Association, how they're going to react to hearing that these players have to play this, however many games this season's going to be with the playoffs. And then say if you're going to try and jump back on schedule, you're giving them what, like half a month to a month break to just jump right back in. I mean, the PA is definitely not going to be happy about that.
I mean, you could also add in the fact that they've had this time off, and in the reality of it, these players are going to need 7-8 games that are left to kind of get
Jason
into.
Tatum said he hasn't touched the ball since they last played a game.
I'm sure that's
That's
changed.
crazy.
But
Yeah,
but the thing with that,
I'm sure
Matt, is
that-
you're using the most extreme example for that. You're forgetting about the other 8 teams that aren't going to be playing again. They're not going to be playing a single game since March, so they're going to go almost 9 months without playing a competitive basketball game. So I think they're going to be
Trey Young's balling out there in Oklahoma.
The thing that I thought about with Will saying like the season starting in December or whatever is like, does that mean that? What does that mean? One, for free agency. If NAC thinks the finals could stretch out in the second week of October, that means you only have a month and a half to prepare, or 2 months
So
to prepare.
Yeah, but that
Whoa.
also stimulates summer league and stuff like that too. There's a lot
it's
more
not
to
happening.
changing.
Summer
Well,
League
I'm not
won't
talking
happen.
about
Summer
this
league?
year, but going
What about the
forward.
draft?
Yeah, Woj. So what Woj tweeted out, I saw it tweeted out the other day. So the Game 7, if it happens, would be October 12th. So then I think that's a Sunday or a Saturday. I don't
The
know.
draft, I think.
October 17th is that next Thursday. That's gonna be the draft, and then they're gonna have it like the Sunday before not Thanksgiving, sorry, before Halloween. They're gonna have free agency, so they're gonna try to have every team's roster be more or less done, completed by Halloween. So I guess they'd have a month, and then during the month of November to try to play a couple preseason games. That's why I think Christmas is probably the most realistic start date for
So
when
they're
they get.
not having the the draft is usually in June, right?
Yes, it's not
Yeah,
going to
So
happen
they're
in
pushing
June.
it back to October.
October 17th, I think is the day.
Like, but
That's
how
good.
would it work otherwise? One, you don't know how the standings are going to work out. Like Memphis is a playoff.
They have to do it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
They
I
could
get it.
jump into the lottery, and it's not like, are you just going to get like some random team like James Wiseman? Like,
Mm.
just
No, I mean,
Harry,
The only problem is that college basketball starts October 31st.
Well,
Like,
what,
you're
does that,
basically,
what difference
like-
does that make?
No, I'm just saying, like, those guys have now waited a full year There's so much they could have done. Is what I'm just thinking of the college, the athletes.
College
Yeah.
sports might not even happen, so it doesn't really matter yet.
That's
Harry,
true, especially if
are you saying that free agency would start October 31st?
Yeah.
Or end?
well, a little before that, about a week before. So there's no end date, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
It would start about a week before. Woj tweeted this out. You can just keep going. I'll interrupt you guys if I find it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good point to transition kind of into the whole aspect of the completion of the season itself. I mean, other than if you want to wait a couple seconds, we can see if Harry finds what Woj put on. But I think collectively we're all on the same page that we're kind of looking forward to sports coming back. But Harry's got a brain blast, so let's hear it.
Yeah, I got it. So it's going to be just with the theme of things, draft lottery will be August 25th. They'll have the draft October 15th, not 17th, which makes the 12th a Monday. And then free agency will start October 18th. And then they would have training camps starting back for next season, November 10th. Tentative start date for the season, December 1st. So it's not a lot of time, but I'm sure they'll push.
I mean, everything's going to be rushed. I mean,
Yeah.
regardless, everything's going to be rushed unless they make complete utter changes to the entire aspect and timing of the whole sports leagues as a whole.
With the NBA, is there like a period where you get to try and like sign back players before they hit free agency?
Yeah, Woj just tweeted out about that.
Yeah, it would all fall into place. They wouldn't be able to start one phase. It's kind of like reopening the states. They wouldn't be able to start one phase without passing through the first one. So I mean, go ahead,
Really
Filbert.
hyped up if we started January 1st, new NBA season. That would be amazing.
I really want to watch because the college
I mean,
football.
it doesn't really make a difference between the
Well,
a
we're
week off.
saying in college doesn't actually go.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying,
NBA
like,
already-
everybody hated 2020, and like to start a new NBA season on the first day, TV ratings would be sky high.
But NBA already dominates Christmas, so just feel like a little sense of normalcy if they open.
It's a
back up.
tradition. I think, especially
I
tradition,
agree with
think
that.
it would be. Plus, I think NFL may have already scheduled games for New Year's Day.
They have this year.
Oh, okay.
There are.
No, they did. They never do, actually. I did that back because they always play. Actually,
That would be cool.
Yeah, they usually start playing like those Saturday games around New Year's.
yeah, but the October because
Right when college football stops playing on Saturdays.
New Year's is reserved for usually like Rose Bowl and games like that, Sugar Bowl, and I think not maybe Fiesta Bowl. Can't remember. Or Peach Bowl. It's Peach Bowl.
Peach Bowl.
Cheesy Bowl.
Correct. All right, so I think that's a good point to kind of transition to our next phase of what we're going to do here. So we've all collectively put together what, as of now, what we think our NBA awards would be. So I think we'll move from the bottom all the way up to the top. We'll start with the Coach of the Year. How about Mr. Knack? We'll kick us off here with who he believes the Coach of the Year in the NBA this year was, and a little synopsis on why.
I went with Nick Nurse. I thought that even with having Kawhi leave, that team still held up very well. Ended up with the 2 seed, I believe. So I think if you're able to lose your best player on that team, rebound and still make the 2 seed in that Eastern Conference, that says a lot about how you're coaching that team and how they're playing. So in that case, it's more of a system rather than the star.
For sure. All right, Tony, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I put Eric Spoelstra from the Miami Heat. I mean, he pretty much just took a on with Jimmy Butler with the veteran presence, and then just all the young guys around him made him a contender of the East.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely made a couple of the younger guys stand out more so than they had in the past as well this year. Niffy, what do you got? Coach of the Year.
I went with Budenholzer. Just flat out dominated the East. It's easy with Giannis, but what they were doing was insane. So I just had to go with Budenholzer.
Mr. Thomas.
I went with Billy Donovan. I think a lot of people came into this past season with the Thunder not having too much of an expectation, and for him to coach them into the 5 seed was pretty impressive. So
I
I think he should definitely be in the conversation at the very least.
I agree with that a lot. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder were very overlooked going into this season, and I think Donovan did a good job bringing them all in together as one. Mr. Campito.
Yeah, that was mine as well. I went with Billy Donovan. I think the roster turnover it's not just that you lost both Russell Westbrook and Paul George, but you also got rid of Jeremy Grant. You had to bring in these new rookies, these new veteran players, some of which they didn't want to be there. Chris Paul did not want to make it Oklahoma City. He made that very clear. And he didn't seem like he wanted to go to Miami pretty badly. So the fact that he was able to fit in with a point guard who's a young kid who was probably trying to take a starting job, not just being able to hold him off, but able to have him move to the 2 and play coincide with him is a testament to both what Billy Donovan was able to do and both this team's just belief. And then guys like Danilo Gallinari fitting in and Dennis Schroeder, who was a 6th Man of the Year candidate, I think that Billy Donovan had his best coaching season that he has since he's gone to the NBA.
Yeah, definitely good bounce off of what Will said as well. Kobe, close us out here.
So you all had something different, and I have to agree with one of you, and that's Mr. Knack. I agree with Nick Nurse being the coach of the year. A lot of what Knack said, but you also have to pay attention to, there was a lot of injuries that Toronto had to go through, and they had fill-in starters like Terrence Davis, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, and just to keep playing at a high level. Losing Kawhi, you look at the emergence of Pascal Siakam. It might just be because he's a natural athlete, but still, he's just a dominant player.
Pascal, wasn't he out 10 games too? Something like that?
He definitely missed time.
Yeah.
Yeah, to close that out,
one too. He was out a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with both of you. That's who my choice was. Nick Nurse won a championship last year, lost arguably a top 2 player in the NBA, and is now sitting a couple games out of the top seed in the East. So I think that speaks for itself. Transitioning into that, we'll go into the most improved player. We'll start with Harrison.
This is a slightly homer pick, but I'm going to take the guy on my favorite team. I'm going to take Jason Tatum. I think the development, we all knew he had this potential. He showed it both when he was at Duke and then his rookie season with the Celtics. He just needed more opportunities with the ball and more playing time. With no more, bless you, Willie.
Thank you.
No Kyrie dribbling the air out of the ball. No Al Horford posting up all the time. Marcus Morris taking the shots. Terry Rozier doing more Kyrie shit. Jason taking control of his team, make his first All-Star game appearance, averaging 24 points, I think it was about 5 rebounds, 4 assists, playing great lockdown defense. His 3-point shooting game, especially that sidestep 3, is probably only matched by James Harden. I don't even think I've seen Steph Curry be able to make shots like that over defenders. And he also, in month of February, won Eastern Conference Player of the Month. So I think that this is just a sign of things to come, and we're just seeing this young star blossom into maybe the next – I don't want to be too high expectations, but he could be like Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, the numbers from second to third season obviously put him in that conversation very easily. So, Mr. Knack, what are you feeling for your most improved player of the year?
I actually went with Luka. I thought – just in comparison, from last year to this year, his game just elevated completely. Playing generally about the same amount of time on the court, added 7 points per game to his average. Field goal percentage went up, 3-point percentage stayed around the same, added 2 more rebounds per game. Just generally just had a stellar season. Not to knock the first season, but his second season was outstanding.
So,
you want to bounce right into it because you chose the same person?
Yeah, I definitely chose Luka as well. He's the 5th person ever to average 28, 8, and 8. He just controls a high-powered offense. Dallas, I have them stealing a game against the Clippers this year. But I would just say to go along with the high-powered offense, with him at the helm, they're averaging 118 points per 100 possessions. And that's just crazy.
I think they're one of the most efficient offenses in league history. I think
Yeah.
the Luka and Porzingis dynamic is unstoppable.
Yeah, so we'll go right over to you, Mr. Will. How are you thinking? Who are you thinking? I should say for
I had three
MIP.
names. I had Devin Booker. Jimmy's gonna love that one.
Yes, sir. My
He's
God.
he's
my
always been
God.
a really good scorer. He just kind of like really blossomed this past year, being originally one of the biggest snubs from the All-Star team, but getting in.
The biggest.
Him, SGA. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Transferred from the Clippers to the Thunder. I think he took a big step this past season. And Tatum as well. Tatum and Juice, my baby boy, over on the Celtics, both just really were blossoming in these past 2 years, or this past year. So, yeah, those are a couple names I was really thinking about.
Just a
Right.
quick question. Do you ever, or to anybody actually, do you think Devin Booker gets out of Phoenix?
Yes.
Anytime soon?
I think he has.
Eventually, because he's going to team up. Actually, pretty soon he's going up to the Timbies.
No shot.
They can't afford it. Neither can they. They can't afford him. They don't have the assets to trade for him. They gave it.
Sure, they can figure it out. Let's just have some pals playing together.
I mean,
Three Musketeers.
I could see Booker maybe ending up with the Knicks getting desperate, but outside that, really, there's not.
It could be scary, bro, because there's teams out west like the Lakers and stuff that could eventually develop the capital and make moves like that. So,
How is a team that's going to be winning 60 games building up capital?
because if Kyle Kuzma plays good basketball again, they could make him and do exactly what the Clippers did and throw out their next 4 first-round picks. And I really don't think the Phoenix Suns would say
They already
no.
traded them for Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but this is down the road. It's not going to be right now. I
like,
doubt
right.
the Sun.
Hopefully you guys are bad when Bronny Jr.'s on the board.
Exactly. All right, Niffy, who do you got for your most improved player during
I
the
went
season?
with Brandon Ingram. Increases scoring average by 6 points per game. Increased rebounds, assists. He went from shooting 67% from the free throw line to 85. And he got himself to the 40. He only shot 38% from 3, but he was shooting 50% from the field.
Almost in that 40, 50, 90 club, or 50, 40, 90 club.
Yeah, but he close. But for me, he was increasing his amount of shots per game too. I think they relied heavily on him, but I think he was. That's a great up and coming team. I'm really scared about that team in the future, but I think Brandon Ingram for me is my MIP.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. So I agree with all that facet. I think it'll be interesting to see if those shots stay in the ball stays in his hands as often as it was while Ryan was out. But I definitely think he took a huge leap forward because he also was an all-star this year in the Western Conference. So, Tony, why don't you close us out with your MIP?
Yeah, I actually got someone that no one mentioned. I put Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. He went from pretty much getting cut from the Spurs. Popovich didn't want him, and he moved on to be a role player in the Miami Heat organization. Now he's an all-star. You can't really say much more than that.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a good way to transition. Bam Adebayo definitely – he was an all-star this year too, I believe. So it was a really good way to transition into our next award with something new, being the Defensive Player of the Year. So, Harrison, you went first last time, so I'm going to have Niffy go first this time.
I went with the man that single-handedly shut down the entire league. And that's
God damn, you took my line, you motherfucker!
single-handedly shut down the entire league. But seriously,
Asshole.
you can't. His defense is unmatched. Bam is actually close, but I would go with Gobert.
All right, well, since Trevor stole your vocabulary.
I'm not even going to say anything. I'm too fucking depressed. Other thing, can we please get a counter on how many times Jimmy said, that's a good time to transition?
I mean, the twice I've said it.
You said it at least 4 times.
All right.
In the last 2 minutes.
I'll go next since you guys obviously know my pick was Gobert as well as the current Utah Jazz fan. dude is locked down in the paint. Helps out that defense systematically so much. You're able to take out a little more defensive pressure that you'd have to put in the paint because Gobert is just eating it up inside. So yeah, Gobert for sure.
Harry?
I'm gonna go a different route. I'm gonna take Giannis. He is both the presence at the rim. He doesn't have the block numbers because he's not really blocking guys that go to the rim. Also, because they're just too scared to go to the rim. So he has that block. He has one blocking game. He has one steal a game. He averages almost 14 rebounds a game for a guy who's guarding the perimeter. That's extremely impressive. And I'm trying to think. It was like defensive win shares. I think he ranks second in the NBA. And that's one of the reasons why the Milwaukee Bucks are so good. It's him and Brooke Lopez and Robin Lopez defending that rim, the big trees. I mean, if you remember, the one game Zion was horrible was because he was getting covered by Giannis, and he just shut him down. He shuts down everybody he plays. So I'm going with Giannis.
I agree wholeheartedly. I have some more stats for that. When Giannis is off the court, the Bucks are in the 69 percentile in points allowed per 100 possessions. When he's on the court, they're 99 in the 99th percentile. That's just absolutely amazing. When he's on the court, they score 10 points less per 100 possessions. And he's like, I guess I had something like the third biggest defensive rating swing. That's just absolutely nuts. Like, he is long. He is absolutely scary. So.
I don't want to interrupt you, but can you explain that? Because I don't think Trevor has it.
Can you define what a defensive swing is?
I did this a while ago. I think it's just from going from the 69th percentile to the 99th percentile. That's just the swing.
Basically his impact while he's on the court.
Yeah.
Right.
Basketball turned to
Kobe's per 100 stats are flying right now.
Yeah, I did a lot of research on that.
Straight out of 2K.
That might have been like 3 weeks ago.
You're going to have some per 36-minute stats coming up soon.
He's got to
Kobe's daily per 100.
Russo's averaging 50 points per 36. He's the MVP.
Per 36, JaVale McGee is actually Patrick Ewing today.
All right, Tony, who do you have for your defensive player of the year?
Yeah, it was kind of tough for me to choose, but I went with Hassan Whiteside. He kind of had like a bounce back year overall, averaging 3.1 blocks a game. Whenever you average more than 3 blocks, you're in the discussion automatically. So, yeah, that was my pick.
Yeah, I went with Giannis as well. I think they explained it quite well. So
did he shut down the whole league?
Counterpoint, he did not.
From Kobe's standpoint, it sounds like he fucking did.
He shut down the actual players. Gobert shut down basketball as a whole.
Yeah.
All
right, so
0 points have been scored against him since like March 10th. So
not only did
no
he shut
points
down
have been
the
scored
NBA,
against anyone since March 10th.
You make the argument Nate Robinson's defensive player of the year in that case.
No. Listen.
it was a dark horse. I considered it.
He shut down the NBA, college basketball, the MLB, and
America. That French fruit shut down America, the greatest country in the world, back-to-back World War champions.
All right, so after those
transition of all time, Jimmy.
after those statements, why don't you lead us off with your 6th man of the year candidate? Will.
Me?
Yes.
No, I'm gonna say like that cornball Drake, 6 man like Lou Will.
All right.
All the comments.
All right.
The new Jamal Crawford. It is Lou Will.
Raise your hand if you want Lou Will.
All right, so there goes all your statements. All right, we'll go to Harry.
Lou Williams is not the 6th man of the year. He's not even the best 6th man on his team. That goes to Montrezl Harrell. He is probably the most underrated center in the league. If he was a starting center in this league, he would be getting all-star hype. The man's averaging almost 19 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block off the bench.
28 minutes per game.
This guy was a throw-in in the Chris Paul trade. It was Lou Williams was the big piece of that trade, and then they just threw in Montrezl Harrell. I mean, he was nothing. And that he has developed into a really, really good center, and he's going to make a lot of money when he's a free agent this summer. Knicks. I guarantee the Knicks.
You hope so, Nick. You
They got
hope
Mitchell
so.
Robinson.
I'm a Celtics fan.
They're chilling.
I know. Yeah, I'm gonna go before you go this time, forward. I'm gonna go with someone Harrison touched on before. I think Dennis Schroeder is the sixth man of the year this year. I think he just to me every time I really saw outside of Chris Paul, anything Oklahoma City related on any sort of NBA on the league pass or anything like that, like the coverages, it was Dennis Schroeder hooping. Obviously, they played a lot better to their expectations than they did this year. And to me, I think Dennis Schroeder is one of, if not the main reason outside of Chris Paul, why they finished where they did. So go ahead, Robert.
Just to go off that, I think Chris Paul leaves and maybe goes to the Knicks, and then Dennis Schroeder gets a chance to flourish, and they'll move
Isn't he a free agent? Isn't he a free agent?
Yeah.
this summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shai will go to the 2. And they'll play alongside each other pretty well now that they know the offense. But I have to agree with Harrison. It's Montrezl Harrell. He took all the stats that I was going to say out of my mouth, and
Great minds think alike.
he's just an absolute monster defensively, and just is a key for their success.
And he's undersized too. He's only is he 6'9" or 6'10", but he plays with such ferocity. I mean, 6'7". He's 6'7", but he plays.
Montrezl Harrell is 6'7".
He is 6'7". He's a low post scorer, and he dominates like that. He's probably one of the – just at low post scoring alone, he's probably one of the 5 best from down there in the league right now.
He's a Kenneth Faried on steroids.
No. Kenneth Faried couldn't even do this shit.
On steroids. Okay.
Harrell's much more skilled than him. I mean,
It's like when you take Kenneth Faried, you take Kenneth Faried and you increase all of his attributes on 2K.
Right.
And
what
Montrezl
Harrell
Harrell
is he's a better version of Enes Kanter. Like Enes Kanter, if he was at his
But size-wise.
size-wise, sure. I'm talking about style.
Yeah, if Enes Kanter didn't run like he has a stick up his ass, then he'd be a little bit better.
Well, we didn't have to do that.
All right, so we got two subjects left to speak upon for the awards. So we'll start it with Rookie of the Year. I'll go first. I really think there's only one answer.
Yeah, does anybody else not have Ja? Let's put it that way.
I mean, we all should have Ja. I do think if Zion,
That's
if
the
the
only
season didn't get
discussion.
cut short and Zion came back a little bit earlier, it would have definitely become a discussion.
I agree.
If it would have come a discussion. I mean, that just shows.
Yeah, it's
Ja
Ja,
Morant.
but there was a world that I could have seen Zion getting some votes.
I mean, if somehow the Pelicans got into the playoffs too, knocked the Grizzlies out of the playoffs, I agree with Will. But so no one didn't have Ja Morant. Everyone had Ja Morant.
Dude, there's hope in Memphis for the future. Ja and Jaren, they could be a tandem. over the
Don't
next
forget
5 years.
Dylan Brooks.
I won't forget Dylan Brooks, but still, like a 1-4. That's
Don't forget about Tyus Jones.
Don't mock me.
No, he's mocking me.
Aren't the Harrison brothers still on that team?
Neither of them are on that team.
No.
When was the last time you played 2K?
I only play Pro or Park. I don't play any of that shit.
All right,
so
great time to transition.
I mean, I haven't said it since you said it, wise guy. So MVP.
Who else?
MVP is the last award. Knack.
When Giannis. I don't even have to explain myself. It's Giannis.
Second that, I'll just give one number more than anything else. 32.3. No, that is not how many points he had per game. That is his PER, which would be the highest in NBA history, higher than the season that Will Chamberlain scored 50 points and 25 rebounds. So Giannis, and I don't even understand where these LeBron people are coming from. LeBron leads his team in one stat, assist. Outside of assist, Anthony Davis has more points, rebounds, blocks, and steals. So I don't know where people are coming from with LeBron love. It's annoying.
LeBron love.
They want
Le-
him for MVP. It's
Listen,
dumb as
if
shit.
if I honestly come into this thought that they should change the name of the award to, instead of it being the most valuable player, to the most outstanding season, because in the reality of it, LeBron would win MVP every single year. If it's the most valuable player to a single team, LeBron would win the MVP award every single year.
I still think Giannis is more valuable to the Bucks than LeBron to the Lakers.
I think the Bucks would be worse right now if they didn't have Giannis than the Lakers now without LeBron.
I mean, yeah, but that's because he has another superstar on his team.
Which shows that Giannis' value to Bucks is greater than him.
Oh, easy
LA.
on the Chris Middleton take, okay? Chris Middleton's fire.
Big Chris Middleton guy.
No, I was just joking.
Oh.
See me laughing.
Giannis is the MVP. It's passed. Next.
Did anyone not have Giannis as the MVP?
Giannis is the MVP, but a lot of people don't look at his supporting cast as being the greatest ever, but they are pretty good. They're pretty.
It's
damn
good. It fits Giannis's game perfectly. I'll put it that way.
Does.
If you were, let's say you were to give him the you put him on the Boston Celtics and like trade him for Jason Tatum, that team would not fit him well compared to, even though they have better players surrounding him, that team does not fit Giannis.
I mean, yeah, I think that was just kind of proven the year before when Kyrie was in
Right,
Boston.
exactly.
So I think the last thing that we have for the pod tonight would be our own little version of the Shredder, but NBA edition. So we each broke down each position at a top 5. So we can start out. We'll start out with the big men. We'll go from the 5 position down to the 1. So, Mr. Poveda, will you give us your top 5 centers, please, from
Okay.
number 1 to number 5?
Yeah, I got Jokic at the 1 spot, Embiid, then Karl Anthony Towns. Then I put Bam Adebayo as a center. I know him and Myers Leonard kind of switch off down there, and then I put Gobert as my 5. So yeah, that's my list.
Probert?
I got Embiid, Jokic, Cat, Bam, and then number 5. Let me see. I didn't come up with a 5th one here.
All these crazy stats, but can't name a 5th center.
Well, I mean, we're talking about like good ones, I guess. I have to say Montrezl Harrell, number 5.
Wow. Niffy.
I went Jokic, Embiid, Cat. Did we say we were putting Porzingis at the 5?
You can if you want.
You can
Yeah,
if you
I'm
want.
putting Porzingis at the 5 as my 4th best center, and then Gobert is my 5th.
Harry?
I went with Embiid. He is the modern day Hakeem Olajuwon. Jokic is 2.
Come on.
He just is. I mean, I have not seen a center. I didn't watch Shaq at his prime days, but I haven't seen a center dominate like Embiid ever. He's the most dominant center I have seen. I'll take Karl Anthony Towns 3rd. I'm gonna take Rudy Gobert 4. I'm gonna go Bam Adebayo 5th.
Willie.
A little biased, but I love this baby boy, Karl Anthony Towns, my number 1 center in the league. JoJo Embiid, Harry kind of touched on it, just a beast. Jokic, that fat piece of shit, he's the 3rd best one. Another baby boy of mine, Kentucky Wildcat, Bam Adebayo, and the man that shut down the league, Rudy Gobert.
Are you a Kentucky fan now?
He's a
Yeah,
closet Kentucky fan.
I'm not a closet one. I'm just a
He just
fair
doesn't
weather.
watch college basketball.
I'm a
Kentucky
fair weather
fan.
Kentucky fan. Got a baseball signed by John Calipari. 2 pals hanging out one day.
That's like having a football. That's like having a football signed by Steven Stamkos. Like, what the fuck?
Nah, go ahead.
I had Jokic 1, Embiid 2, Cat 3, Rudy 4, and Kristaps 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all just kind of agree that outside of Harry, who thinks Embiid is a lot better than he actually is, that 1, 2, and 3 between Anthony Towns, Embiid, and Jokic are essentially interchangeable. I have somebody in mind. I have actually Gobert at 4. I have Andre Drummond on mine at 5. I think he's a 20-20 guy almost every night. So I
He
think
got traded for a
he's-
ham sandwich.
Yeah,
It's
but
all
he's
right.
the greatest rebounder of this generation.
I'm to me he's literally a walking 20-20 guy. Like he could at any given night he could have 20 points, 20 rebounds. So he rounds out my top 5. To go into power forwards, I'll start us off with my list. Giannis is the consensus number 1, I would assume, for everyone here, followed by who should be the consensus number 2, Anthony Davis. I have Pascal Siakam as my 3rd best power forward. Then I have Porzingis, and I actually had Adebayo at my 4 on mine. I've just seen lineups at times where he's run at the 4, and they have Miles Leonard start at the 5. So that'd be my power forwards. So we'll go reverse this time. Mr. Niclario, give us your top 5.
So 1 and 2 are locks. Giannis, AD. 3, I put in Blake. I mean, yeah,
Blake.
he's
Play.
pushing towards the later of his career, but I still think he's up there. And then I
Got worse knees than me.
Yeah, he's probably going to be a prime trade candidate this offseason.
we were talking
Oh,
about
you know-
trades, though. This was not
Prime trade
For a
candidate makes it seem
baloney
like somebody
sandwich.
wants him.
Andre Drummond's getting traded for a ham.
this was no injury, so I didn't take account to any of that. Then 4 I had Pascal, and 5 I had Draymond.
What?
You embrace debate for the hot sandwich takes.
Holy hell.
Let's hear it, Harry. Since
No, Willie's next. Let's go.
Oh.
Top 2, same as everybody should be. I agree. Siakam 3. Give me Sabonis, number 4. And guy I just absolutely love watching play the game of basketball, John Collins, number 5.
Harry.
Wow. Yeah, same with you guys. Giannis, AD, obvious. Went with Siakam as well as 3. This is where I went a little off script. Took Jason Tatum 4, and a man who's played, I believe, 20 games, Zion Williamson at 5.
Wow.
I've seen enough from Zion for me to say he is one of the top 5 power forwards in the game.
That's wild.
I
Go
mean,
ahead, Niffy.
Giannis AD, like everyone said. I went Siakam 3, Tatum 4, and Sabonis at 5.
I got Giannis, AD, Pascal, Kristaps, and then at 5, Sabonis.
Yeah, for me, I had Giannis, AD, Pascal. Then I had Porzingis, then Blake Griffin at my 5 spot.
Yeah, so, I mean, that rounds out. I think we all agree that essentially 1, 2, 3 is set in stone. I think just based off how we position people 4 and 5.
except Blake Griffin and his turkey sandwich.
No, he's a bologna sandwich.
Oh, he's a baloney. Sorry, baloney.
Bologna is awful. But I have a question, to your question. Because you guys, I would think I was the only one that put Tatum at the 4. You guys all have him as a 3? Or do you see him as a 4? Like, would you leave him off because he's
Harry had him as a 4.
Yeah, I mean that's what 2K had him, and I would just and 2K and what was the other
I
one?
think based on your roster nowadays, that 3-4 is kind of just like up in the air. I think they're more viewed just as forwards nowadays. So I mean, I have him on my list as a small forward. So Tony, you haven't started us off yet. Give us your. Actually, you might have did the
he
centers.
definitely
first, but-
started the centers, but that's
All right, Niffy.
Oh.
You're not going first either. Frobert, small forwards.
Small forwards. We got I don't know, man. Kawhi or LeBron at 1. I have to say at this moment in time, Kawhi, LeBron. Jason Tatum, number 3.
Okay, we're gonna have to ask a lot of questions. Jimmy, I'm going next.
You ever heard of the
Jimmy
guy that plays
Butler,
for the Brooklyn
number
Nets,
4.
formerly for the Warriors?
I mean, I forgot. All right, I forgot Kevin Durant. Sorry, dude.
I just forgot about fucking KD.
All right. I guess we're gonna have to
Over here
play.
looking like the little white Brian gift, just blinking. I'm like,
Yeah,
Oh,
I
my
blanked on that. All right, so
Kobe's like, Gordon Hayward.
well,
Defensive swing.
Sarah Smith's still floating around.
Sorry, he didn't
Tony
play.
Allen still on the board.
Almost forgot about him. I don't even have a pair of his shoes. But all right, so
It's like I'm wearing the Vince Carter jersey for a reason, boys.
he's number 5 for me. We'll go with Kawhi, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler.
Wow. All right,
You
Harry.
had a chance to revise
All
your
right.
list. It's horrible.
Harry, go
See,
ahead.
I'm not gonna bash it because mine is fairly similar. Durant is I think he's the best player in basketball, when healthy, of course. But last I saw him, he was the best player in the NBA. My 2 is also Kawhi. I think Kawhi, best two-way player second best two-way player in the NBA. He is Giannis, but with the shooting. So I'm gonna take him. Then LeBron at 3. I'm gonna take Paul George 4, and I'm gonna take Jimmy Butler at 5.
That list right there is like that olive loaf the deli has.
I got Paul George as a 2, though.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
sorry.
I think we talked about it. He can swing both ways.
Niff, go ahead.
The best small forward in the NBA is LeBron James. People, it is LeBron James.
Great
He's
player.
the best
Not the
small
best,
forward in
though.
the league. He's the best player on the planet.
You're not talking. Oh, Kawhi shut him down like 3 years ago when he was like 21.
That's weird because Kawhi's not even my 2. KD's my 2.
KD's the 2. It's just LeBron's not the 1.
LeBron is the 1. KD's the 2. Kawhi's 3. Paul George is the 4th, and Jimmy Butler is my 5th.
So wait a second. Trevor, do you recall something on I think it's Miami Heat versus the San Antonio Spurs,
He
I
won't.
think. And LeBron James was at the free throw line, and he heard the horn because they were making subs. He looked behind him, and he saw
Shit.
Kawhi Leonard checking into the game, and he just had a facial expression like, fuck.
I was not a facial. It was a flat out fuck.
That doesn't
So,
mean
I-
anything.
I think
So,
you and
let
Jimmy
me
probably
get
have the
this straight.
same
So,
problem with
You're
him.
gonna
but
have
he
him at
doesn't
number
play every
1
night.
when that is the case. When he is pissed off, somebody's gonna guard him.
You can't guard LeBron. You can contain LeBron.
Okay,
That's pretty
fine.
good
Somebody that
point.
can contain him.
One time. We're acting like LeBron's not on the top of the West right
Okay.
now.
We're acting like
And just
He's-
blew
he's-
Kawhi,
he's the
just
guy
blew
from
Kawhi
NBA.
Leonard and them out the last time they played in real life.
all right. First of all, I'm just
Season.
saying
I'm
we
not.
have the playoffs to play, so we'll see what happens there. But my list stays the same. He's at the top.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, a great, all of a sudden becomes like better than the best player ever because he beat a Warriors team without a better small forward than himself and Klay Thompson. So that just makes him the best player in the league.
Just
I'll go with mine next because I essentially agree with Niffy down to the T. I have LeBron 1 because he's the best player ever. Kevin Durant 2. If he's healthy again, he could arguably be the only player in the league I'll put past LeBron. Kawhi will be 3. I have Paul George 4, and then I just had Tatum as my 5 spot because you guys had him.
Wait, you think Jason Tatum is better than Jimmy Butler?
He's having a better season. I think he had a better season.
I put Butler at my 2, but
I also had Jimmy Butler on my 2 list as well.
I'm gonna say this to separate me from Jimmy. LeBron isn't the best player of all time.
No.
I'll just say my.
So
Well,
LeBron just got to come out with a documentary to make him the best player ever.
No,
I said Jordan from day one.
Jordan's not the best player of all time because he's a fucking 10-part doc, Jimmy.
It's because of Space Jam. Jeez.
LeBron's making one of those too.
It's gonna
Like,
suck.
what an ignorant ass statement.
Right.
I'm not with the whole who's better. I know they're both great. I'm not going to say Jordan's better than LeBron. I'm not going to say LeBron's better than Jordan. They were just fucking amazing.
Put
Right.
Braun out there with food poisoning. Watch what happens. Nothing.
Yeah.
He doesn't play. Load management.
Well, you can't really blame him.
Michael Jordan was literally on load management. He literally couldn't play the full games.
He
He
wasn't
could
on.
only play like 14 minutes in games.
What?
With his foot. Did you watch the doc?
Injury.
Did you watch the doc?
He had an actual injury.
So,
Load
LeBron doesn't
management.
take load management. Michael Jordan actually took load management.
Was no such thing as load management back in the day.
He literally couldn't play the full games. That's the definition of load management.
Because he was
We
hurt.
took him
That's
out
why
in games when he did not want to come out to save him.
This is a really good reaction.
No, they were trying to lose. That's why they took him out of the games.
Thank you, Harry.
It was still load management.
No, it
It's
wasn't.
not. It's not. Well, it's.
Yes, it literally was load management.
That's what I like to call
Come
tank.
on, Nack.
It's not. I would like to prefer to call that tank.
This was when he came back
If you were
from.
tanky, you wouldn't play him at all.
Well, he was just not going
Fair
to
point.
not play.
Yo, because they told him, they were like, if you get hurt, there's a 10% chance you get hurt when your career's over. And then there's a
Yes.
90% chance that you don't get hurt. But so in that situation, if there's a 10% chance where the greatest player of all time could get hurt
Yeah.
and never play again, no shit, you would load manage him.
All right. Let's go to Tony's list. Who gives a fuck about load management? Let's go to Tony.
Thank you. I got Kawhi, LeBron, Durant, Tatum, and Chris Middleton. I put Jimmy Butler, and Paul George as two. So I stuck Chris Middleton in there.
All right, I'll round us up here. LeBron number one. I can't even believe the criticisms that I have just heard. I will be sending this recording to LeBron just as more motivation, so we can dunk on all your heads in the finals.
In other news, we have been signed by Undisputed.
Oh, I think Shannon would never let us. I asked for an invite to Club Shay Shay. He never responded.
Hot Hills.
Number two, I put KD. 3, Kawhi. 4, I put PG. And then number 5, no one said him, but I put DeMar.
Rosen, get him on there.
That's a roast beef sandwich type take.
Roast beef.
Roast beef is pretty good.
I think
Yeah,
it's a little overrated.
Like,
Come
I
on.
don't hate
Not
I
gonna
don't
lie.
hate it, but like I disagree. I wouldn't be my top choice.
You know what, Trev? Trev, you're a fucking gabagool hot
The
take.
guy,
Yeah.
the guy couldn't win.
It's the gabagoo.
DeMar just can't win. I'm sorry. You just can't lead a team.
All right,
They
but
played with chubby Kyle Lowry for his whole career.
No,
Um,
don't make fun of Peachy.
Well, I played
Dude, I
it with
could
him
play a better
once
point guard than
and
Kyle
took him
Lowry.
to the promised land.
All right, shooting guards. Billy T.
Harden, strip club king, number one. Klay Thompson, probably second best shooter of all time, maybe at the end of the day. Jimmy Butler, shots like on book, and then Bradley Beal.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go next because that was mine. Same order.
All right, I guess I'll go. I got James Harden at the 1 spot, Paul George, Klay Thompson, D-Book, and then Jimmy Butler. And then Bradley Beal is my 6.
Tony's got my same thing, but Beal at the 5.
I'll go. I kind of have a homer pick, but I had Harden, Clay, Book, Butler, and then number 5,
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
I'm even higher than him than Knack, I guess. So I went Harden, then Clay. I'd be very honest. Clay, I actually thought about Clay ahead of Harden just because I know Harden plays no defense, and Clay is maybe the best defensive 2 in the league. So I thought about it, but I didn't do it. That was too bold of a take. Then I went Donovan Mitchell at 3. I went Bradley Beal at 4, and then a name nobody has said. I'm valuing both sides of the ball when I say this. So no, Devin Booker, you're not going to be on the list. I went with Jaylen Brown.
Yes! I wasn't bold enough to do it. Fire me up, Harry. Love my baby boy. Dude's going to teach the world Mandarin while saving black lives.
Will has
Hey,
said
hey.
baby boy more than Jimmy said. Let's transition to this.
Who
Counter.
picked D-Book as their most improved player? Yeah,
Well.
you're not even gonna put him on your list.
E-book's on my list. He's my number 4.
He's not on Harry. He's not on Harry's list.
No, I don't. I value the defense, and he plays negative.
And watch him come
Bradley
to
Beal doesn't play defense
negative
either. but-
basketball.
Yeah.
I
but
hope
he-
he comes
he's
to
also
the
averaging
Knicks and you
32
become
points
his
a game.
fan. Oh, wait. Didn't you just say you're on the Celtics wagon now?
You
I'm a
value
Celtics
Wait,
fan.
That is
I thought you
true.
were a
But
Knicks
you'll see at the point guard position, there will be Kemba won't show up on mine.
Harry. Did you just say you value
That's cap.
defense and put James Harden at number 1?
I told you I thought I put Clay.
I mean,
I thought I put Clay at 1.
not this year. Last year, James Harden almost averaged 3 steals a game. But
Oh, you can walk me to steals.
Hey, Kobe, what are his
Taking balls
defensive
off the
swings?
face from Giannis.
all right, Niff, give us Niffy, give us your top.
100 free
I
throws per
went-
100 possessions. Sorry.
Harden, Clay, D-Book, Mitchell at my 4, and then a guy no one has said, and I went with Victor Oladipo.
And Oladipo at my 6. All right, so last position, point guards. I'll probably go last because I just excluded people I just can't stand. So I'll go last. So how about Tony? Tony, kick us off here.
Yeah, I had Luka as my number 1 point guard. Then I put Steph, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Trae Young, and then Ben Simmons.
Treyway.
Oh,
Treyway.
I guess I'll go
Colbert.
next.
Nope, Colbert.
I'll Colbert.
Go ahead, Harrison. That's all right.
Not me.
But you
Okay.
look like you were
That's something
kind of
that I
pissed off
respect.
at that.
The fact that Steph Curry is not the number 1 point guard in this
I
league
agree.
He could be basing it
Shameful.
off this season.
is shameful. Well, no, we're
He's-
saying right
he-
now. We're saying right
No,
now.
but Tony's list was based off this season, so it's
Well,
not
that-
that black.
You
No
could say the
injuries.
same thing with
Then why
me
is
when I
Durant
didn't
on his
say
list?
KD.
Who's Durant?
Harry, last I checked,
LeBron James.
Giannis's PER, and Luka was right there below him. So
Yeah, but I need to see more. I've seen
Personal preference.
Steph Curry win 2 MVPs and 3 titles and lead a team to the best regular season in history. And he's the greatest shooter of all time and can still shoot the same as he did back then. So I'm going to take Steph Curry 1, not even a question. Dame Lillard is 2. He would be.
Whoa.
Damian
high.
Lillard is 2. I have seen him lead the Portland Trail Blazers to the conference finals with scrubs and more scrubs and CJ McCollum.
They do this year.
Well, I mean, everybody's hurt.
We will not have this Portland slander on my podcast, okay?
Damian Lillard is second best point guard. Then I went Luka 3. I went with Luka 3. I went with Russell Westbrook at 4. And I wanted to say I thought about saying Kyrie, but because he's just the cancer in the locker room, I went with Chris Paul.
Billy.
Steph's my number 1. Dame time. Had maybe one of the most clutch shots in the last couple of years. Kyrie Irving, because he's
Shout out Nate Kaimi.
Kyrie River. Best handles in the league. Horrible person, flat earth truther, but very good at basketball. Luka, and then Russ to round it out.
Knack.
I had Steph at 1, Luka at 2, as he was also my most improved player, so I had to throw him up there. 3, I put Russ, the triple-double machine. Dame at 4, and then I actually put in Ja Morant at 5. I think he has the talent. to be in it.
Wow, Ja already at 5.
Dude, guy's
Oh.
a fucking animal. Give him 2 years, he may be at number 1.
We're talking about right now.
I
Wow.
back until number 5, and I had Kyrie Irving. And then, it's either Kyrie Irving or John Wall would be number 5 for me.
Oh, not the John Wall discussion.
I would build a team around John Wall, but I would say that Kyrie right now, I guess we'll call it him at 5.
Dude, John Wall's what, 30? Almost 30? And he's
How
coming
old's
off a
Kyrie
double.
Irving?
He's coming
Kyrie's
off a
like
double. He's coming off a double Achilles tear.
Him
Dude,
and
he was a baller.
Cousins are the
He
same
was a
people.
baller. I
Him
don't think
and Cousins.
Go
Nah.
Kentucky
Hall
together,
of Famers.
same draft class, and they have the same injury-prone problems. They're the same person.
Well, I would
It'd be easier to
consider
recover for John Wall because he's
John
not
Wall.
as fat.
Trevor's in a pretzel.
as someone looking at me saying I value the 2 offense and defense. I'm not sure why you're not agreeing with me with this.
Because I can't trust a player who keeps getting hurt and hurt.
Yeah,
and
but we're
hurt.
assuming health. We're
Well,
And
assuming
his
team-
health.
team and his team success. Well, yeah, I
Team
understand
success.
that. If that was the case, I'd be putting
Whoa.
Cousins in my top 5.
We're assuming health that Greg Oden's the best center of all time.
Yeah, but I can't.
We're
If I
assuming
haven't seen you
relative health,
play, if I haven't seen you
not
healthy,
miracles.
if I haven't seen you healthy,
That's
in
over
2
here
years,
like
I'm
if we were assuming health,
But
the Blazers made the right choice.
Okay,
Harden over KD every time.
Well, before that, he was carrying the fucking Wizards to the playoffs, maybe getting bounced in the first round, whatever. But like
Bradley Beal's better.
at this point in time, yes. But
Okay, good answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
I'm just telling you, it's John Wall.
Like
He's
Family
up
Feud
there.
family.
He's still up there.
I'm
I'm
John,
not
but
backing
John.
down from that shit.
Last time I saw John Wall play, they didn't make the playoffs,
Well, that was 2 years ago. I mean, at the same time.
and I haven't seen a
Well,
play
Okay,
since.
so I'm trying to think when the last time we actually saw him in the playoffs, because that's a while ago. But
3
still,
seasons ago.
27.
That is my
I mean, he was injured for the last 2 seasons.
proving my point. Even
But
more.
okay, so all right, if Kyrie didn't have LeBron and had Anthony Bennett and fucking what's his name, Andrew Wiggins, are they making it to the playoffs? Even
I never put Kyrie in the conversation. I put
All right, I'm
I
assuming
mean,
you had
are we talking about
Kyrie in that
playoffs
conversation.
with LeBron James? I think it's gonna happen. Hot take.
Playoffs.
I just want to win a game.
All right, so I mean, I think I'm the only one who has the list left.
No.
What? Oh, all right. Go ahead then.
Still has to listen.
Go ahead, Slim Cat.
The best point guard in the NBA
My fellow Americans.
Is Russell Westbrook.
resides in Portland, Oregon.
Oh boy.
Damian Lillard is the best point guard in the NBA.
All right, I'll see you guys next time.
I'm high on Damian Lillard. I can't even agree with this shit.
The best point guard in the NBA. It is a homer pick. I get it.
You got Tony so upset he broke out the Jimmy Cap thing.
29 points per game, 8 assists, 55% from the field, just under 40. He's shooting 39.7, and he shoots 88% from the free throw line.
Want to look up Steph Curry's stats from the year before?
Counterpoint.
Where is
That's
his
very by
ring?
his ankles like me. Crack every
Where
time. I
is
walk.
it? Where
Keyword,
is his ring? Then you have a valid point.
keyword was year before in that statement, Jimmy. Right now, Damian Lillard is the best point guard in the NBA.
Steph
Nah,
broke
playoff
and you
position.
retard.
What?
Of course, the stats aren't going to be the same. Steph has a broken hand.
Right now, the best point guard in the NBA is Damian Lillard.
If I wasn't recording this
All right.
podcast, I would have left the chat already.
I
Go ahead,
get my
Nifty.
two,
Get the 2 to 5.
because my 2 is Luka Doncic.
Mm,
My 3 is Steph Curry.
Dude, Steph Curry changed the game of basketball.
We're talking
And he's
right
number 3 right now? You're
Just
crazy.
keep going. Just keep going.
Right now.
In that
Just keep
injury,
going.
Kevin Durant is the worst fucking small forward in the NBA.
You can't walk.
They're in how many fucking places? Jesus Christ, Nick.
Kyrie
just
and
keep-
Russ are my 4-5. Fuck you guys. You guys suck.
Oh, you suck. You do
I'm
you
a-
watch basketball?
I would just like to thank all of you
No.
individually for not putting Ben Simmons on any of your lists because I
I
can't
thought
stand
about
that
it.
guy.
I thought about it. He's the best
Um,
defensive point guard in the NBA.
So my list is gonna
Crazy.
exclude
Christ.
my list is gonna exclude people I can't stand. So Kyrie, Russell Westbrook, you just not making my list. Steph Curry 1. Damian Lillard 2. I have Luka Doncic at 3. Chris Paul at 4. And then I have Kemba rounding out my top 5 with Jamal
No, I'm
Murray.
a homer.
Jamal Murray with my honorable mention here.
Also known as Jimmy's favorite player.
I get called out for the homer pick, and you throw in Kemba Walker.
Shout out Harper Hempel.
I mean, if I'm including the guys I can't stand, he wouldn't have been on my list. Like the 2 of them were on yours, so.
Oh,
Kyrie wasn't on mine.
So that's
imagine
one
putting
player that makes
Steph
a
at the
difference.
3. Holy fuck.
Hey, Nat, can you give me that gun you were showing us earlier?
Yeah, I have it right here, actually.
Oh my God.
Oh my god!
I guess we know.
With
Easy
that
fun.
with that being said, I think Nick, you should take us out of here.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Oh my
Stand off a couple victory rounds. We'll see you next week, guys.
Oh.
Next week we're playing roulette.
All right, Niffy, close us out.
All right. I don't know what to say.
Goodbye.
No, it was a great week.
Steph
I had a
Curry
lot
is
of
the
fun.
best point guard in the NBA. That's what you should say.
He's not. He's not.
It was a
Um,
great episode, and I hope John Wall gets his hands on this episode for a little confidence booster.
Oh, please. If he wants to reach me out, my Instagram handle is in the Embrace Debate Instagram page. Please, if you have a problem with what I say, text me. I will be here. My phone.
The
I wanna-
DMs.
I just hope
personally
LeBron.
thank Wall.
If he's one of our 15 viewers, then I'm going to be very excited.
I hope
Oh.
LeBron gets this. I really do. I'm gonna find out how to send this exact recording of every one of you motherfuckers that said LeBron is in one. I will be shipping it to him, and then when I get that Space Jam 2 merch, I will be wearing it around.
I have Shaquille O'Neal's number, if that helps.
I'd be scared if we were talking about Michael Jordan instead of LeBron James. He'd give a shit less.
All right, before we ramble on too much, Niffy, close it out.
I also have. I was scrolling through Twitter during this.
One job.
ESPN obtained a copy of MLB's proposal today to the players. Just to close this out, the owners.
They declined it. Summarize, they declined it.
Did they
They're
really?
they declined it. They're not interested, and they made them more angry. They want the same amount of money with more games. So
Even
without
when we go out
prorated
of our
cuts. So
Even when we go out of our way to talk about basketball, Niff has to throw in baseball.
all right,
I
this
just
was
saw
this was episode 8. Thank you for joining us. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow the Instagram, and we'll see you next week.